It is such an honor anytime I get the chance to talk to Gavin DeGraw to take it. And the reason why is because from the time I met this man back in 2002, when he was playing conference rooms to now, this man has created music that really has been part of my life's great joy. From relationship trials to celebrations to breakups to music just because we need a good song to have a beverage to. Gavin, thank you for a life of incredible music. I
Oh,
appreciate you,
uh,
man. And I
man,
appreciate
thank
why the good Lord puts you on this planet.
you. Rock, man. What a compliment. I appreciate it, man. Good to be here. Thanks for taking a little bit of time for me.
Well, thank you for 2 decades of music. I mean,
Thank you.
who knew when you were just like knocking on every door and you finally got Clive Davis to open up and say, I think I'm going to take a chance on you. I like you. You come along with me, Gavin DeGraw, and I'm going to make you a superstar. Did you think you'd be here 20 years later, like doing what you're doing, about to play on top of the Empire State Building in a lounge and all that? I mean, Jesus, what an adventure.
I mean, I hear you, man. I'm still kind of I pinch myself, because you don't ever expect to even get the opportunity, and even if you do get an opportunity, you don't expect it to last very long. You know,
Yeah.
uh, there's so much of your time on the way up is even when you're climbing, you're waiting for the other shoe to drop somehow, and have an issue where you're like, damn, I got close. Something almost happened, but it didn't quite happen because there were so many false starts along the way,
Sure.
um, career wise, and so many letdowns and rejections. But that's all part of the process. And so when things start really coming together, um, you're kind of expecting it to flop. But I've been very lucky, and I've got an unbelievable fan base now that's just been so loyal over the years, and relationships that have spanned decades now. And I think that type of loyalty and those friendships, it's nice to know that people pay attention and reward you for just not being the worst guy on the planet, right?
Well,
So,
that's actually a really good point. Do you think that those relationships that you've made with your fans, those friendships that you've made with your fans, are the reason that shoe has never dropped? That's part one. And then part two,
yeah.
is that relationship with your fans part of the reason why you never say no? I was going to say you seldom say no, but it's
Mm.
been my experience with you that there hasn't been a cause or something that's been important to a fan that when a fan or a business colleague slash fan has come to you about and said, hey, would you mind doing this? You've not said no to it. Where does that fire come from? Because there are people who have reached the echelon of success you've reached, and they use that word no like it's nobody's business. But you are someone who I see in Washington, D.C., turn up to play for our troops. You turn up on aircraft carriers. You play bases for MWR across the globe. You go to somebody's fundraiser just because it's a fundraiser and it's important to them that you're in the room. Where does that drive come from if it's not just the fans? And if it is the fans, what is it that on your worst day makes you say, you know what, strap it up and let's put this thing on?
Man, I mean, I, 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 I don't deserve that much credit. I show up to the things that I feel are important. And there's a lot of stuff that's important. I'm not necessarily a better person than anybody else. I think a lot of people are a better person than me, and if I could show up for them, then I will. Um, and there's people with much harder jobs than I have. I mean, I play music for a living. I I make things rhyme, and I make them for about 3.5 minutes. Right, that's my job. So compared to what other people are really doing for a living, um, what I do is cake. And so I'm thankful for where I'm at in life, and the job I've been allowed to have and call a job, which is really my hobby anyway. It's something I do anyway because I love it. Obviously, I want to make a living at it, right? That's what allows you
Right.
to do it when all the time. But but I'm thankful for people who are doing much harder jobs than me that allow me to do my job for a living, right? Like uh, like what the troops are doing, or what millions of other people are doing. That's really really work in the trenches types of things, working with kids or with hospitals and things like that. I'll show up well when I can, um but people have it way harder than I do. So I mean, I'm certainly not some kind of righteous guy. I just, if I could show up, I want to show up.
I think that's the thing about you that is so endearing is that you show up. There are other people who are, like I was saying, there are other people who find a million. Well, I could show up for you for this, but I'm going to show up for this, for that, or I'm going to show up on this. But you're like, what do you need me to do? And it's just part of your DNA. If
That's
we go back 20 years to when you were knocking on Clive Davis's door, say, hey, Gavin, come with me and I'll make you a superstar. What is it you said to yourself after, that moment you knew that this ride was about to really take off, where you had a conversation with you? What did you say to yourself to keep yourself from screwing it up? Because there's so many people I know that get the opportunity, they get that one hit, right? You get your one, and if you can
Yeah.
prove it, then there might be another one. How did you motivate yourself to get things done to where 20 years later, we're talking about this new album, these new songs, and you look at the breadth of work that is your catalog. I mean, my God, when you sell the rights to it, it's going to be everywhere.
um I don't know. I mean, I've been mostly trying to be, when you first getting started out, you want to work with people and show people you're willing to work with them, right?
Mhm.
And you got to understand, just as an artist, that you're not going to get everything you want, you know, creatively or business wise, the most ideal version of it, fantasy land of everything you want the way you see fit right away. But I also think, um, you get as close as you can, and you negotiate, um, so everybody's happy with where that jumping off point is going to be, and hopefully with some successes, you get more and more of that creative power, and more say, and hopefully it continues to go your way. But also, I think it's important showing people who you're working with that you're that you show them that you're workable, right? That you're willing to
Mhm.
work with them, right? They don't, and I just think maybe it's an overall philosophy of, they don't work for you, they work with you, right?
Right.
And I think maybe just having that, a little bit of that perspective on what being a partner is, and as a whole is, no one's working for you, they're working with you. And I think
Right.
by having the philosophy of working with each other, you get a better result as a whole. And
Yeah.
and then people going, oh, okay, well, we're going to trust his opinion on this because he's been workable, so let's lean that direction because he has conceded on this or that. And it's just the nature of having partners, and I think that's, in general, that gets you your best results, for the most part, I think. And so,
You're workable, but you've also been more than willing to put in the work. And I think that says a lot to a partner as well. There's some, but
hopefully.
well, everybody's going to do everything else for me, but you're like, and maybe it's just the way you were raised and, before the music career kind of thing took off. I mean, I remember you telling me once that you came from, this upbringing of just work hard and keep working hard and don't be afraid to work hard and get
Oh yeah.
back up and work harder the next day. Tell
Oh
me,
yeah.
and I know we don't have a lot of time left. What's going into this love letter to your fans that we're about to celebrate here in the next few days?
Well, it's this record is a thank you record, for giving me 20 years of of success and opportunity to have a relationship with my fans. You know, Chariot 20 is a remaking, a re-record of my first record, and it includes a couple songs that didn't make my first record, but I thought that were appropriate for my first record. They just didn't quite land at that time when I put out Chariot. So I went in and recut all of the material with Dave Cobb, who is I think the best producer in the world right now, for what the kind of music I've been pushing to make, the kind of
Mhm.
record I made with Face the River and now Chariot 20, sort of like this, almost like this 1970s songwriter meets soul record, sort of a Bob Seger meets an Al Green record, if you
Mm.
can imagine that. That approach on the Chariot record, completely re-recorded, did new performances, um, you know, my voice has improved a lot. My voice has matured a lot, and my playing has improved, and I wanted to document that and capture that. I think that this recording brings new life to these old copyrights in a very cool way. You
Yeah.
know, not taking anything away from the original Chariot record. I'm very proud of that record. That record moved mountains for me.
That's one of the you actually you answered a question I didn't even have the chance to ask, and it is one
Uh,
of the things that always comes to mind when I see you live or I run into you and we have the chance, like, here at a baseball game or at a hospital or whatever. Soul is the word. Like Billy Joel's got that song, It's All About Soul. Well,
yeah,
you radiate and ooze soul. And I'm wondering where you get it from, but you just answered it. These are musical icons that some people may not realize are responsible for the music that they hear today.
yeah, for sure, man. And I appreciate that. I mean, you know, your influences you know, affect what your result is going to be. So, you know, I listen to a lot of music that moved me, made me feel something. And of course Billy Joel. I mean, I love that you mentioned him because he's just my favorite, you know. And it means a lot to me on a personal level, about my own decisions to be a musician, and, you know, as a New Yorker, and a music fan. But you know, you do your best to pay homage to those artists that you grew up on, and the music you fell in love with, and make your own brand of it, you know, your own vintage of uh of that music that you love, you know. And that early Elton John stuff, the Tom Petty stuff, you know, that baby boomer rock, you know,
Mhm.
psychedelic rock, and Motown. So I just make I make American music. That's what I do.
I'm going to bring a bottle of something and a bunch of vinyl, and we're just going to sit around and we're going to listen. And then I'm going to ask you for one
Love it.
favor. I love it when you
Yeah,
sit
man.
down at the piano and you reimagine songs like Chariot and you slow it down and you
Yeah,
just
man.
start riffing and you just start going. And it's
Yeah, man.
almost like I can imagine if Heaven had a jam band, you and Bruce Hornsby would be duking it out as I got this part. No, I got this. No, I
Love
got this
Hornsby.
part. I'm Gavin DeGraw, damn it. I got this part, Bruce. You sit over there and play with the Grateful Dead.
No, man.
Well,
Hornsby could
I'm
rip,
going to tell you,
man.
man.
He's a wonderful musician.
Oh, dude, that guy. Ooh, no, but
Amazing.
the two of you
He's amazing.
together, baby Jesus, baby Jesus, Lord Jesus, he's the best I ever had. Oh, man, Anyway, man, I could talk to you for hours and hours and
Same,
hours, but
Toby.
I know other people want to spend some time with you. But more importantly, thank you for the time you've given us over the
Oh,
last
thank
two
you, man.
decades and for the time you're going to give us to come with such great music that really is. If this life is a symphony, you are an exclamation point. We haven't even reached a crescendo yet. So thank you for being
Oh,
here,
man.
man.
You rock, man. Toby, means a lot, man. Thanks for your time, man. I appreciate
No,
it.
Gavin, thank you. And thank